It may surprise or even shock you to hear what I'm about to say, but if you're seeing this video right now, it's no coincidence. As a chosen one, you've always sensed a deeper truth hidden beneath layers of appearances. Today, I bring a message that might unsettle those who rely on masks and deceptions. Lies are crumbling, illusions are fading, and only the truth remains. Before we go further, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment 77 below to send a powerful signal out into the universe. Play this video on repeat to magnify its energy. If you are truly a chosen one, you'll stay until the very end. If not, it's likely you won't have the patience to absorb this truth fully. The mask that once protected. In a world driven by appearances, masks once served a purpose. They allowed people to navigate social expectations, to hide vulnerabilities or shame. Over time, though, these masks became more than just protective coverings. They became identities. Individuals who long ago forgot their authentic selves took comfort in scripted roles. They learned to smile when sorrow grieved their hearts, to speak words they didn't mean, to feign strength when fear consumed them. These masks offered security and acceptance, albeit the hollow kind. As a chosen one, you've always had a sense that not everything was as it seemed. You could feel the tension between what people presented and what lurked beneath. Perhaps as a child you saw adults say one thing while their eyes told another story. Maybe you witnessed friends laugh at each other's jokes while silently competing. This duality disturbed you, for you longed for honesty, clarity, and genuine connection. Yet it seemed that society rewarded those who performed their assigned roles flawlessly, leaving truth-tellers feeling isolated or misunderstood. Now, as energies shift and timelines realign, the masks that once protected are cracking. The collective unconscious grows weary of pretense. When crises unfold or moral dilemmas arise, false smiles and carefully rehearsed lines fail to comfort. People crave authenticity, substance, and trust. The old way, saying what pleases rather than what's real, has lost its charm. The universe, responding to an unspoken yearning for truth, gently peels back layers of facade, revealing what's been hidden. Some resist this unveiling. They cling to their masks as if, without them, they would cease to exist. They fear that showing their true faces, complete with scars, insecurities, and contradictions, will invite judgment or rejection. But the opposite is true. Authenticity, once considered risky, is now recognized as strength. Those who dare to be real find unexpected allies, deeper bonds, and self-respect that no performance could replicate. You, as a chosen one, stand at the forefront of this transition. Your intuitive discernment and inner wisdom guide you through the confusion as false narratives disintegrate. Where others see chaos, you see the unraveling of illusions long overdue. Your calm presence reassures those around you that truth, no matter how stark, can be freeing rather than frightening. Without masks, people have no choice but to communicate sincerely. Without lies, misunderstandings can finally clear. This chapter of human evolution might feel uncomfortable. Removing masks can sting like ripping off bandages. Yet the pain is temporary, and what follows is worth every tear. With masks gone, healing can begin. Anger can be addressed honestly, sadness comforted openly, admiration expressed without envy. By embracing the vulnerability of truth, we reclaim our humanity from the shadows of performance. And you, as a chosen one, help guide others toward that liberation, showing them that when masks crumble, the light of the soul shines brighter than ever before. The lies that crumble under scrutiny lies have long been woven into the fabric of society. Little white lies, strategic half-truths, elaborate deceptions spinning entire. False worlds, they filled conversations, shaped reputations, and propped up shaky systems. People found it easier to accept comfortable falsehoods than confront harsh realities. Over time, these lies formed invisible chains, restricting growth and perpetuating illusions that served those who benefited from obscuring the truth. As a chosen one, you've always known something was off. Perhaps you felt uncomfortable whenever you witnessed someone praising a person they secretly despised, or you cringed at stories that didn't quite add up. Lies, no matter how carefully constructed, emit a certain dissonance. That dissonance resonates in your bones, nudging you to question and investigate. For a while, it might have caused confusion or even sadness as you realized how prevalent deception was. Now we've reached a turning point. The universe orchestrates a grand unveiling, pushing lies to the surface where scrutiny awaits. The collective consciousness has grown weary of maintaining false fronts. Social media reveals inconsistencies, hidden agendas become harder to conceal, and whistleblowers emerge, risking everything to expose injustices. The digital era might seem chaotic, but it's also a stage for truth to assert itself. Patterns emerge, and once random fragments now form coherent pictures of what truly happened. Those who thrived on lies find themselves cornered, their once flawless narratives now sprouting holes. Attempts to patch them up fail because eyes are wider open, hearts more discerning. Even as they double down on fabrications, their audience loses interest, seeks alternative perspectives, or simply demands proof. Lies crumble like old plaster under a relentless tide of questioning and fact-checking. People you meet every day witness this too. They see political scandals, corporate cover-ups, and personal betrayals brought to light. Some are shocked, others relieved. For you, there's no surprise here, only confirmation of what you sensed all along. The world purging lies makes room for authentic dialogue. Where fear once suppressed honesty, courage now demands it. These revelations don't just concern grand-scale matters. On personal levels, friendships reevaluate their foundations. Families confront secrets buried for years. Individuals reassess their life stories, identifying where they deceived themselves out of comfort or denial. Each admission, each honest reflection, moves us closer to a more transparent reality. It's not always pleasant. Truth can sting, but it clears the air, allowing genuine understanding and healing. As lies disintegrate, a new paradigm emerges. People realize honesty, though challenging, is ultimately simpler and less straining than constant pretense. They discover that truth, even if painful, paves the way for trust and resilience. No longer must we waste energy maintaining illusions. Instead, we can channel that energy into creating meaningful solutions, building sincere relationships, and aligning our actions with our values. In this world where lies fail to withstand scrutiny, chosen ones like you serve as beacons. You show that truth doesn't have to be harsh, it can be illuminating. Your calm acceptance of reality, no matter how uncomfortable, inspires others to adopt the same stance. By witnessing lies crumble, we learn a vital lesson. Nothing sustainable grows from deceit. Only truth endures, guiding us toward a future free from the heavy burden of falsehoods. Facing the discomfort of reality. When illusions shatter and masks fall away, what remains can feel stark and unvarnished. Facing reality head-on without the cushioning of lies is like stepping into bright sunlight after hours spent in a dimly lit room. It can sting the eyes and leave one momentarily disoriented. Yet this discomfort is a necessary step if we are to evolve beyond pretense and into genuine self-awareness. As a chosen one, you've seen glimpses of reality's raw edges before. You know that truth is not always pleasant. It can reveal wounds we'd rather ignore, iniquities we hoped were exaggerated, and personal shortcomings that we try to mask behind excuses. Still, you courageously stand in that light, understanding that growth springs from honest acknowledgement rather than denial. People you meet every day might try to retreat back into old illusions when confronted with uncomfortable truths. They may scramble to repair cracks in their narratives, insisting that everything is fine or that the truth doesn't matter. But a shift has occurred. They can feel the hollowness of these rationalizations. They know deep down that pretending no longer soothes. It only postpones the inevitable reckoning, making it even harsher when it arrives. This discomfort, while painful, is also liberating. Without illusions, we can finally see what needs mending within ourselves, our relationships, and our institutions. A world built on authenticity offers chances for genuine solutions rather than band-aid fixes. The absence of lies means problems aren't disguised, so we can address them at their roots. This may require hard work, confronting our own biases and stepping beyond our comfort zones, but it leads to lasting transformation. As you navigate this phase, remember compassion. Many will feel betrayed or overwhelmed by truths they never anticipated. Their anger, confusion, and sadness are natural reactions to a sudden shift in perspective. By extending empathy, you help soothe these transitional pains without offering false reassurances. You can say, I know this is hard, but we're facing it together. This invitation to shared vulnerability fosters unity instead of division. The discomfort is temporary. As people learn to function without the crutch of lies, they become stronger, like muscles growing after being challenged. Our collective psyche adapts, becoming more agile and resilient. Over time, we discover that truth provides a stable ground to stand on. It may not always be comfortable, but it's reliable. You know where you stand, what's real, and what actions make sense moving forward. In embracing this discomfort, we move from a fragile balance sustained by lies to a robust equilibrium founded on authenticity. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, courage, and repeated affirmations that truth is worth the struggle. But as you, the chosen one, demonstrate unwavering commitment to living in reality, you inspire others to do the same. Eventually, the discomfort lessens, replaced by a sense of relief and empowerment that comes from knowing you no longer live in fear of exposure or contradiction. Truth is the path to freedom. If lies bind us in invisible chains, then truth is the key that unlocks them. While it can feel safer to remain in familiar illusions, true freedom only emerges when we align our lives with what actually is, rather than what we wish it to be. Truth liberates us from the burden of maintaining false narratives, from tiptoeing around sensitive issues, and from disguising our authentic selves. As a chosen one, you understand truth's liberating power. Maybe you've had moments in your personal journey where admitting a painful fact or revealing a secret brought immense relief. The tension you felt while hiding reality dissipated once you spoke it out loud. This principle applies collectively as well. Societies that embrace truth become more flexible, more creative, and more able to solve complex problems. They waste no energy propping up illusions. Instead, they focus on real solutions, improving quality of life for everyone. People you meet every day may resist this freedom at first. After all, many have built their identities around certain fictions. Status gained through pretense, relationships held together by unspoken agreements not to discuss certain topics, or careers thriving on inflated claims. Letting go of these illusions requires humility and courage. Yet when they see others flourishing under the truth, some will find the resolve to dismantle their own illusions. In truth's stillness, mistakes are learning opportunities, not shameful secrets. Differences of opinion spark constructive dialogue rather than hostility. No one needs to perform a role. They can simply be. This authenticity fosters trust. It allows communities to function more efficiently without the friction of hidden resentments or suppressed disagreements. By clearing the air, truth paves the way for collaboration, respect, and mutual understanding. Your role in this shift is significant. By embodying honesty and refusing to participate in deception, you encourage others to follow suit, not through lectures or moralizing, but through example. When they see you walk confidently, unburdened by lies, it piques their interest. They wonder, how can I feel that lightness? How can I taste that freedom? Over time, as they experiment with telling the truth, even in small ways, they'll experience its empowering effects firsthand. Truth's freedom also extends to spiritual dimensions. Free from lies, you connect more readily with divine guidance, intuition, and higher states of consciousness. You're not weighed down by false identities or drained by constant vigilance. Instead, your energy flows naturally toward exploration, growth, and service. Truth becomes the fertile ground where your soul's purpose can flourish without interference. At first, stepping onto this path may challenge long-held habits, but as the old layers of deceit peel away, you discover a sense of relief and possibility. Life no longer demands exhaustive effort to maintain illusions. Instead, each day feels more authentic, less constrained. In this space of honesty, you and those around you can finally breathe deeply, knowing that whatever unfolds, it does so without the need for masks or fabricated stories. The courage to stand in truth. Embracing truth isn't a passive act. It demands courage. Courage to question long-standing beliefs, to admit when you're wrong, to confront injustices rather than ignore them. It means facing pushback from those who prefer comfort over clarity. But as a chosen one, you carry within you the resilience needed to withstand these tests. Your soul chose this path precisely because it understood your capacity to weather storms and emerge stronger. This courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's quiet, a steady resolve to speak honestly, even when your voice shakes. It may mean being the only one in a room willing to say, "I don't think that's true," or "Can we consider another perspective?" In doing so, you risk disapproval or misunderstanding. Yet every time you stand firm, you reinforce the new paradigm where truth outlasts expedient lies. People you meet every day might pressure you to go along with convenient untruths to keep the peace. But you know that real peace cannot rest on falsehoods. You learn to differentiate between superficial harmony and genuine concord. True harmony emerges when disagreements are addressed respectfully and openly. By upholding truth, you create space for authentic connection, even if it requires short-term discomfort. It's natural to feel anxiety at times. Lies can form a tapestry that others rely on for a sense of security. Pulling on one thread can unravel the whole fabric. But remember, the universe supports truth's unveiling. Although some react with anger or fear, others will silently thank you. Over time, as the dust settles, people realize that living without pretense, however challenging at first, is ultimately more sustainable and nourishing. Courage also means acknowledging your own imperfections. Embracing truth isn't about claiming infallibility. It's about striving to understand reality as best you can, and here's the punctuated version of your text. Being willing to adjust your views when evidence suggests you should. This humility disarms critics who claim truth seekers are arrogant. You show that truth isn't a weapon to wield, but a beacon, guiding you and others toward better understanding. As the culture shifts and more individuals choose truth over false comfort, collective courage grows. You won't always stand alone. Others, inspired by your example, will step forward. Together, you form a community bonded not by shared illusions, but by a shared commitment to honesty and growth. This solidarity makes facing challenges easier. You no longer carry the burden of truth-telling by yourself. You join a chorus of voices singing a more authentic tune. Ultimately, courage is the linchpin that holds this transformation together. Without it, truth remains locked in the shadows. With it, the process of stripping away lies and masks becomes a purposeful journey rather than a frightening ordeal. By demonstrating this courage, you teach others that truth need not be feared. It can be approached gently, integrated steadily, and celebrated as the foundation of a more evolved human existence. Rebuilding after illusions fall. Once masks dissolve and lies crumble, we find ourselves in a landscape freshly cleared of debris. Without comforting illusions, we see the terrain of our lives plainly. It might look barren at first, no more convenient cover-ups, no illusions to hide behind. Yet this is fertile soil for rebuilding something far better and more enduring than anything constructed on deceit. In this new clarity, individuals can start anew. Systems once propped up by misinformation have a chance to reform. Institutions can pivot from short-sighted agendas to sustainable strategies rooted in real data and genuine intent. Relationships free from the strain of unspoken truths can deepen authentically. People can trust each other, not as idealized caricatures, but as complex beings deserving of compassion and sincerity. As a chosen one, you play a vital part in guiding this rebuilding process. Your hidden discernment helps identify what's real and what's residual illusion. You can propose solutions that address core issues rather than symptoms. You become a voice reminding others that, without deception draining resources, we have more energy to invest in genuine progress. Your perspective encourages cooperation, inspiring communities to pool their strengths and talents. People you meet every day might be uncertain how to proceed. They might cling nostalgically to old patterns or become overwhelmed by the openness that honesty demands. By leading through example, showing patience, empathy, and practical problem solving, you reassure them that truth-based structures are not only possible but also more sustainable. With time, they see the benefits: less mistrust, fewer misunderstandings, and more effective collaborations. This rebuilding phase is not a utopia emerging instantly. Mistakes will happen, old habits die hard. But now mistakes can be addressed directly, without pretending they never occurred. Corrections can be made swiftly, and lessons integrated thoroughly. Such adaptability fosters a culture of learning, resilience, and continuous improvement rather than stagnant denial. Rebuilding after illusions fall also extends to internal landscapes. Individuals who once contorted themselves to fit false narratives can rediscover their genuine desires, passions, and callings. Creative sparks reignite when freed from the pressure to conform. Friendships flourish as people appreciate each other's true natures instead of loving a performance. Even personal healing accelerates. Emotional wounds neglected under layers of deception now have room to breathe, to be acknowledged, and ultimately to mend. In embracing this reconstruction, we shift the axis of our reality. Instead of fearing exposure, we celebrate transparency. Instead of seeking short-term gains through cunning, we invest in long-term development through trust and integrity. While it's not always easy, the rewards are clear. A world grounded in truth is lighter, more dynamic, and more generous with hope. With your steady presence, you help guide this rebuilding. You prove it's not a pipe dream, but an achievable outcome. As the dust settles and the last traces of falsehood disappear, what emerges is a landscape more fertile for human potential than any stage set by illusions. Through your example and influence, you ensure that this new foundation supports growth, harmony, and fulfillment, demonstrating that truth, once embraced, can nourish everyone who partakes in its abundance. Living in a realm where only the truth remains. Now that lies and masks are exposed, and we stand in a realm where only truth remains, life's texture changes. Without deception, communication is clearer and more meaningful. Without pretenses, relationships develop on solid ground. Without the need to perpetuate illusions, individual energy once spent on maintaining falsehoods is redirected toward creativity, innovation, and genuine expressions of self. In this new era, as a chosen one, you find a sense of peace and stability you once only dreamed of. Gone are the days of navigating subtle manipulations or guessing at hidden motives. You meet people as they are, not as they pretend to be. This honesty fosters deeper connections, stronger communities, and a collective willingness to work together for mutual benefit. Problems that once festered in silence can now be addressed openly, paving the way for effective solutions. People you meet every day may still carry remnants of their old habits, but the incentives to lie or mask one's true nature diminish. They observe how authenticity not only simplifies their lives but enriches them. Over time, the idea of reverting to old patterns becomes unappealing. Why return to a world of suspicion, confusion, and insecurity when truth offers a more vibrant and stable alternative? This shift has spiritual dimensions as well. Without the interference of lies, connecting to higher wisdom becomes more natural. You feel divine guidance more intensely, your intuition sharper and more reliable. Purpose clarifies. You understand what you must do and how your unique gifts can contribute to a collective upliftment. The universe's whisper becomes easier to discern in the quiet honesty of this new reality. Living in a realm where only truth remains doesn't mean life becomes perfect or devoid of conflict. Disagreements still arise, but they're handled openly. Painful truths still surface, but they're addressed with compassion. Challenges still exist, but they're tackled directly without wasting time or energy on denial. The difference is that now every step forward is grounded in reality, ensuring that progress is real and lasting. Your journey to this moment wasn't easy. You endured discomfort, skepticism, and dared to stand by truth even when it wasn't popular. But your perseverance paid off. Now you move through life with confidence, trusting that what you see and experience aligns with the deeper patterns of existence. You rely on intuition and logic in tandem, no longer having to constantly second-guess motives or authenticity. As this reality takes root, the memory of the old illusion-filled world grows distant. Future generations might find it hard to imagine a time when deception was so normalized. They'll know only a world where truth guides decisions and authenticity is valued over hollow performances. Through your courage and example, they inherit a legacy of clarity and trust. In this final chapter, Your role shifts from catalyst to guardian. You help maintain this environment of truth by continuing to embody honesty, empathy, and courage. Should temptations of old patterns resurface, you stand firm. The equilibrium you've helped establish ensures that truth remains the bedrock of human interaction. With masks and lies laid to rest, humanity moves forward, liberated and renewed, forging its destiny on the unshakable foundation of what's real.